All right, everybody. We are back once again with a Xander Hall Reviews drama. Another Xander Hall content creator friend gets drama, and I am going to talk about it because, well, a combination of I'm interested in discussing it, and also because you guys are going to make me. So, yeah, we're here. We're talking about it. We're here. I'm not queer. Many of you are. And we're going to be talking about SHOE0NHEAD. For those guys that don't know, me and SHOE0NHEAD are friends. I think so. And I think she's pretty chill. I think she sometimes misses politically sometimes, and I think she'd admit that because, you know, she's not really, it doesn't really seem like she wants to be a massive YouTuber or like super famous on the internet. It doesn't really seem like she wants to have to deal with the responsibility of it, which I kind of understand. You can't really reverse becoming popular online and make yourself stay in that fun little area where you have like sort of insular niche popularity, but nothing you do broadly matters to the world. It seems like she doesn't really like want to be like she doesn't want to live in a state where like her every mistake she makes could have explosive consequences in real world politics. That seems like something that's caused a lot of stress for her, and that oftentimes leads to a lot of drama. As understandable as that is, that does not necessarily completely exonerate one of criticism necessarily. But I think that, you know, she's pretty well-meaning and a good person, so I am very, I think at least, I'm pretty, what's the word for it? Charitable when it comes to talking about the drama that she gets herself involved in. So the most recent drama she got herself involved in is, well, it has to do with something tangentially related to giant titties. So SHOE0NHEAD had a tweet, and she's going to talk about it in a moment, and it has to do with the preferences of whether or not you are insecure or, I guess, like a lesser person if you are not personally willing to date someone who is a sex worker or would not date someone on the because they are a sex worker or because they do like OnlyFans or anything like that, right? Now, I'll give a little bit of background for those of you guys who don't know who SHOE0NHEAD is. Shu is definitely progressive. She's like a sock dem with some pretty socialist positions, it seems. She's definitely a populist, and I think that can sometimes lead to some, you know, populism, you know, pointed in the wrong direction can lead to bad stuff, but populism pointed in the right direction can lead to good stuff. You know what I mean? But overall, I think that, you know, if you took SHOE0NHEAD and her political beliefs and you printed them and made everybody who is less left, like, if you made every conservative and normie and, like, liberal in the country have the politics of SHOE0NHEAD, actually, that would be a nightmare. That would actually be a nightmare. Never mind. Okay. Oof. All right. So I was gonna say that wouldn't be too bad. I was gonna say that wouldn't be too bad, but that would actually be a fucking nightmare. Yeah, it would maybe be a little bit of a nightmare if everybody agreed had SHOE0NHEAD's politics. So maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit not too much populism. That would be a little bad. But overall, like SHOE0NHEAD's actual political positions, all jokes aside, are absolutely more progressive and more agreeable and more morally correct on an objective level. I'll downright say it, on an objective level than 99.5% of society. Maybe 0.4% of people are more progressive than her in America alone. So generally when I see people on the left push really hard against her, and it's for who she is and her politics or what she believes, and not like because she did this or because she did that or insert example or insert mistake, I get really iffy because it's like, well, like if SHOE0NHEAD's not left wing enough for you, then I mean, sure, she's got some political hang-ups, but I mean, like, come on. So I usually think that people on the left that go after SHOE0NHEAD are kind of deranged and stupid. But we're gonna hear this out. I figured it would be best for us to watch SHOE0NHEAD's stream where she defends her tweets and responds to her critics. So we can do two things. So for one, SHOE0NHEAD recently started streaming, and you know, as she is my friend, I would hope that, you know, my advice in streaming would rub off a little bit, and maybe I can like throw in a bit of pieces of advice for like responding to chud or like not even chud just like responding to stuff on stream. Just if I see something that would be helpful, mansplain it for her. Yeah, I gotta mansplain to SHOE0NHEAD, you know, like she taught me. And then the next reason is that I think it's probably more fair. Twitter is not a good platform for expressing your entire opinion in the most concise, nuanced, and well thought out way with all the details. So I think it's probably better to hear SHOE0NHEAD's like full thought out, worded explanation and everything. And yeah, it should be fun. So let's hop right in. We got Tucker Carlson titties right off the bat.
Oh, geez. Hold on. Here.
I'm gonna get violently stoned during this, by the way. You can't stop me.
All right.
Just try.
Jeez, oh god, you weren't supposed to see that. You weren't supposed to see that, chat. All right. Also, for the people in YouTube chat, I see you. Go to my website. It's in the description. Go to SHOE0NHEAD.live.
True, go to my website.
Come hang out in this chat. You get emotes and stuff. Guys, show them all the emotes that they get. Just type, like, random emotes. You get emotes and stuff, and then also, like, I directly read your shit, so... Come over here.
True. You should come to my website. My website's also cool, guys. Come to my website, xanderhall.com/live, 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 xanderhall.com/live. John XOXO, thank you for the Prime sub. I appreciate that, homie. You're very kind and based in Pog. All right, back to it.
It's free. It's free to sign up. You pay with your soul. Okay. Are you ready? So this girl, I don't know who she is. I have no idea who this person is. They have a pretty large following, which you'll see is kind of relevant when we get to it. But she said, quote, "I'd never date someone with an OnlyFans. That's such a shame because I was really hoping to go out with a boring, insecure loser." Now, this isn't the only viral tweet I've seen like this. Like, I see a tweet like this across my timeline.
All right. I'm sorry, Shu, but I must interrupt you. You are a woman, and I am a man. My voice matters more. No. All misogynistic humor aside, which is mandatory for any segment about Shu. You know that meme about Twitter? Where it's like Twitter is like women making up a guy and then arguing with that made-up guy publicly? That's what's happening here. I'm not saying there aren't dudes who say this, but like this is an instance of like someone making up a guy saying a thing and then them responding to it in a tweet. So I do think that's a little funny. That's the first thing I notice. Now, I'd never date someone with an OnlyFans. It's such a shame because I was really hoping to go out with someone. So the way that this is worded, it's very easy to see. So I'm trying to steel man this, okay? There are dudes who are really douchey and do the whole, fucking OnlyFans girls are fucking whores. Don't date, yeah, like, don't date them, Like, I know that kind of stuff exists and it's really fucked. And I feel like that's what this is probably. I would hope if the most charitable reading is that it's towards those guys, right? Like the kind of guys that reply on some OnlyFans girls like post and say, "No guy's ever gonna fucking date you. I wouldn't date you. You're a fucking whore." And then I imagine it's like a response to that. The most charitable reading is it's a response to that thought process and saying, "That's such a shame. I'd never want to go out with a boring, because I really wanted to go out with the boring, insecure loser." So, okay. That would make sense, right? But the problem is, the quote just says, "I'd never date someone with an OnlyFans." And the response to that is, if you wouldn't date someone with an OnlyFans, you are a boring and insecure loser. So, the tweet, of course, that got SHOE0NHEAD in trouble was saying that it is not good to morally condemn people for not wanting to fuck you, and people are allowed to have their dating preferences. But I'll leave it up to her to make the arguments.
Timeline like every week. Every week there's some like, "Oh, you wouldn't date an OnlyFans girl? What do you have, a small penis?" It's like, what? It is a totally perfectly normal opinion.
I'm sorry. What is SHOE0NHEAD wearing? What is that necklace? Is that like a piece of clay? I wondered what it was for like 5 minutes now. I'm wondering, is it like a joke necklace? It's a nugget? Oh my god, it's a fucking chicken nugget. It's a chicken. I knew there was something in my male brain telling me there was something important about that necklace. I should have known it was a fucking nuggie. That's why. The male brain can recognize the shape of a nuggie from any distance, any color, and any lighting condition. It really is an amazing power.
To not want to date someone who makes porn. Like, a completely normal person opinion. And I feel like it's an extremely online thing to think otherwise. It's like,
okay, I get what she's saying here. I think this is a matter of rhetorical skill, maybe, but the point that SHOE0NHEAD is making here, maybe in a way that wouldn't necessarily vibe too well with you guys. Let me translate this to a softer way so that you guys are okay with it. It is not abnormal, nor should it be unexpected, that in a society that has stigmatized sex work to the degree that it has, that becoming the partner or being in a relationship with someone who does sex work entails many difficulties, both emotional, physical, and potentially health-wise, that are all worth consideration when it comes to your potential partner. And there are absolutely valid reasons why somebody who does sex work might potentially checkmark a few boxes that unfortunately mean they just don't fit the ideal for your perfect partner. And that is okay. And that you should not morally condemn people for it. And if you believe that this is genuinely something that makes you a bad person, then you've clearly spent too much time on the internet and need to go outside and talk to some people and realize how quickly that thought process is both not only abnormal, but unacceptable and seen as just downright, abusive in broader society. Do you guys think that was a good, translation of what she, the sentiment she said? I don't want to put words in her mouth, but I feel like that's what she was trying to get across, you know? I don't know if she had enough weed and patience to say it, though, you know? But I do.
Like, when people are in a monogamous relationship, there's some people who are bothered if their partner looks at porn. And I was actually this woman. So I was more like this woman years ago. Like, oh, you're not cool with your partner looking at porn? What are you, insecure? It's like, what the fuck are you, okay, maybe you're okay with it, but other people have different, different levels, different boundaries. You know what I mean? And so I was this woman years ago about porn, right? Which is, really embarrassing to think about now. It's like, okay, and it's sort of like the people who are like, oh, you wouldn't date a trans person. Like, are you transphobic? It's like, okay, I personally would date a trans person.
Who is too trad, she's given one weed day a month. Yeah, she can only she's only allowed to smoke weed once a year. Tell Shu to smoke more weed. I think that'd be entering some dangerous territory. Can you imagine what Shu would be tweeting if she was high all the time? Y'all don't want that.
And I get, a lot of people would, but some people don't like dicks. Some people don't like vaginas. And that is fine. I feel like the one area we should absolutely not be gatekeeping is who people fuck, is who people date, is who people are, I feel like for progressives to do that is insane. Because, they've dealt with that. Gay people have dealt with that. Their whole, and now it's oh, you don't want to do this? What are you, bigot? And this is not activism. This is just weird and narcissistic. So anyway, this isn't the first tweet I've seen like this, so finally I was like, you know what? I'm gonna join the discourse. I'm gonna join the discourse about this, finally, because I see it constantly.
She is right, by the way. That tweet is not activism. That tweet was, at least from my view, a very, very hastily typed shitpost that ended up blowing up. Subscribe to my OnlyFans and come to my comedy shows, links in bio. I see the insecure, boring loser community has a lot to say about this. I imagine that this is in response to SHOE0NHEAD's fans. And I will admit, there are probably a few insecure, boring losers in SHOE0NHEAD's audience. I'm not saying it's not the case, and I'm sure plenty of them were being boring, insecure losers in the comments of this lovely young individual. However, let's hear SHOE0NHEAD take it away.
So anyway, of course...
Zenhall, I'm not sure if you can confidently say that Shu believes that most people don't want to date sex work solely because of social stigma. She might just believe that's inherent to most humans to not want to date sex workers. Sure. Let me even add on to it then. And some people may even have the completely valid personal preference that sex and the nude body and other intimate acts are something that should be considered private in the relationship, and it is an emotional harm to them if they feel that the privacy of and the I guess the specialness of that has been broken in some way, and that's not something they can control, and it is their preference, and that's completely fine. There you go. There, see, it's fine. See, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with her take, at least not so far.
Of course, in like, she's not even a checkmark, but this is some like checkmark energy. I see the insecure, boring loser community has a lot to say about this. I fucking hate this shit. Like, post some really, like, really, like, shit like that, you know, will get people angry, and then you're like, oh, I see people are angry. It's like, alright. Anyway. Yep. So anyway, she posts this. And then I come in.
Listen, Twitter brings out the worst in everybody, okay? Like, is it maybe it's just me, but do you guys just by default read tweets in a sarcastic, snarky voice? Because you just kind of assume that was how they were meant to, that's the tone they were meant to be posted in? Like, that's what I just default to, is reading tweets in a snarky, sarcastic voice, because I just assume, like, especially if it's a tweet, like, that's critical, like a critical of me tweet, like, I just know that's the tone that was being used when it was being written in the head of the person writing it.
And because I'm fucking sick and tired. Did she hide my thing? Where am I? There I am. And then I come in, like, putting my foot down because I'm tired.
Damn, 26,000 likes and that far down?
It's so funny how if you don't want to fuck me, you're a bad person is made into some activism thing now. Like, no, people aren't insecure or bad for having dating preferences. It is an extremely normal thing to not want to date someone who does porn.
So, I feel like SHOE0NHEAD's actually touching on a few things here that are outside of the dating sex workers thing as well. There is an issue among a portion of the left, a portion that I think many of us would call woke scolds, that genuinely believe, and the funny thing is I don't think you could please these people, that genuinely believe that if you are not willing to engage in a sexual relationship, or a romantic relationship with a trans person, based, only on genital preferences and nothing else. You still see them as valid, you're still attracted to them, all of that. It's just genital preferences are just what's getting in the way. If that wasn't a problem, like post-op, it would not be an issue. They would still call that person transphobic and shame them and like give them the Twitter runaround, right? The social shaming of the Twitter quote tweet fucking brigade, right? And I'm not saying it's the end of the world or anything like that, but there is certainly a tendency in the online left to decide who is and isn't a bigot based on who they want to date. And in when it comes to the trans topic and just sexuality in general, it's extremely common. And let's not even get into the gatekeeping, the talk about like insert group isn't valid this week, he, him, lesbians, that non-binary fucking manlets or whatever, I don't fucking know. Like, they decide that some new identity that they decide they don't like this fucking week is what they're gonna decide to rail against on Twitter for the next fucking 7 days. And it's like, if you think he, him, lesbians are valid, unfollow me, you're an evil piece of shit. And it's like, oh my god, you're fucking gay. Stop shit-talking other people on the internet who are trying to figure out their sexuality and their identity. Like, is this where you get your self-worth from? Like, is this what you do? Have you learned nothing? Have you learned nothing? Have you learned nothing? I don't know. Like, that is an actual issue on the left, and if that's a broader tendency she's calling out, then spot on. It is not activism. Saying you're a bad person because you don't want to fuck me is not activism, and she is calling out a real thought process and a real tendency that is not necessarily prevalent in the left, but exists in a portion of the left that is loud and fucking annoying and makes us look real bad.
Am I wrong, chat? I want to see if anybody disagrees with me. Does anybody disagree with this, what I said? I want to see if any disagreeers in chat. Okay. So, the amount of anger this tweet got was insane. People are like, oh, I hope he picks you, sis. Alright, so first of all, I'm already picked. I'm already pucked. I don't gotta be picked. And if I wanted male attention, I just go outside. So I don't, the did he pick you, sis shit is like so fucking annoying. It's like, I'm sorry.
I will, okay, I will say, SHOE0NHEAD from the outside looking in can come off like almost like one of those stereotypical like pick-me girls that's like trying really hard to fit in with the bros. But I can assure you, SHOE0NHEAD really is just like this. She's just like this, you know? She's just being herself. She's just being herself. I promise you guys. I'm pretty certain that there's not a string pull. God damn! I swear to God, I need to get. When I get to Seattle, I'm going wireless. I literally every time I adjust, somehow I am wrapped up in this goddamn 10-foot long cable wire. Please, please. I just want to be comf. Just let me be comf. All right, back to it. I just realized how long this is.
You can't disagree with this, or else you're like trying to be not like the other girls or something. Like that's how the social ostracization works, right? It's like, I'm just saying a very normal opinion here. Like, what the fuck? All right, anyway. So a lot of like actual like people that were just like, yeah, you're so right. Porn stars are disgusting human beings and should die. Like, there were a few people like that, I guess, which was like, okay, buddy, let's tone it down a little bit. And she winds up like focusing really hard on that, and it's like, oh, okay. So that's where this.
So I actually want to talk about. I'm not saying this is what happened here, but this did remind me of something that sometimes happens whenever I go up against anybody. That's like anybody I oppose, right? I have just a metric shit ton of anti-fans. Not like an insane amount, but like there's a good amount of anti-fans that I have that like watch my content and follow my Twitter and view my tweets and sometimes even like my tweets just because they hate me and can't stop thinking about me and want to know what I'm doing. And sometimes, as a way of sort of sabotage, they will basically pretend to be a fan of yours and act in the most horrible ways possible. I've seen it happen before. Like, I'll go up against some, like, horrible, like, woke scold person who's an abusive piece of shit, and I'll, like, quote tweet them and call them out for, like, some argument they made being dumb or something they said being abusive or something along those lines. And then, like, some of my fans will go to the replies and, like, reply arguments to what they said or, like, continue the debate with them in the replies. But then you'll get like one or two people that follow me for some reason that'll just start calling the person slurs or just being obvious fucking Nazis in the replies. And it's like, okay, I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to make it look like you're one of my fans and that this is what I stand for and what I support. And I just block those people so they can't even be a part of my community or my tweets anymore. So I got the one-click black add-on. I wish. The one-click block add-on. Which literally, just like you could like a tweet or whatever, you could literally just block someone with one click. It's really handy and very useful if you are a content creator that gets canceled every other day. I never get ads on Twitch, whether I'm subscribed to the person or not. Yeah, worst magician on ice. You're just built different. What can I say? You're better.
This is going. You're gonna focus on not what I'm saying, but what random people popping in are saying. Okay, sure. So anyway, she's like, this is like ridiculous, guys. I think it's very cool and chic of you to use your giant platform to get mad about words I literally did not say in order to dehumanize sex workers. You are truly morally superior.
Okay. I think the closest to dehumanizing sex workers you can read into this would be it's an extremely normal thing to not want to date someone who does porn. I feel like if you read into it, you can get an implication out of this last sentence that, like, it being normal to not want to date someone who does porn is due to some moral reason. Like, it's normal because doing porn is bad, or that is like an implicit argument. I feel like you could read into that, right? I don't think this is the same with Shu because her Twitter following is like kind of like a Russian roulette. Oh yeah, like SHOE0NHEAD has a much broader appeal to conservatives, so obviously like she does have like unironic Nazis that are fans of her. But to be fair, I would argue that having a Nazi who's a fan of Shu is a good thing. Like they're more likely to be pulled left by Shu, I think, than Shu to be pulled to being a Nazi. I don't I don't think the left is gonna lose Shu to the pits of Nazi Tartarus. Because like the Nazis are nice to her or something. If that ends up happening, I will allow you guys to fucking, throw me to the fucking hounds, alright? But I don't think that's gonna happen. There we go. I have now staked my reputation on Shu, which will force her to behave. There we go.
Thank you so much, Michael.
To my
Fucking
favorite
base
mommy
as hell.
Tommy. Take my money, please, June. Love what you do.
Oh my
Never
god.
stop.
That's right.
Wait.
That's right. Give me the money. I'm your
Chat. This is what it's like being a woman on the internet. Average female streamer donation. Smallest donation to a female streamer.
Base as
Mommy
hell.
Tommy. Take my money, please, June. Love what you do. Never stop.
That's right. That's right. Give me the money. I'm your commie mommy findom. Thank you though. But what the fuck is this, guys? I think it's very cool and chick of you to use your giant platform to get mad about, like, first of all, you called them insecure losers for not wanting to date someone who does OnlyFans. So I don't understand where. Okay, but dehumanize sex workers. Where did that come from? Like, even I say, like, I would date one. Like, I'm fine with it. Not wanting to date someone is dehumanization? Third of all, chat, there are so many things to unpack. Use your giant— Girl, you have the viral tweet here. You have the upper hand. I didn't even ratio you with my giant platform. What the fuck are you talking about? This came across my timeline. You come into my house. You suck my dick. You call me gay. And
God, I love that fucking video. Coming to my house, suck my dick, call me gay. I love that video. It truly is a masterpiece.
like, what the hell is she talking about? And then also, fourth of all, chat.
Listen, chat, I really wanted to yell that louder, but my next door neighbor is like a 68-year-old gay man, and I have my windows open, and there's about a 20-foot distance between me and my neighbor's like windows and door, and I'm almost certain that he can hear me screaming in here, okay? And I've yelled gay a few times, so like I have very unfortunate luck when it comes to neighbors and screaming about politics. I just hope to God they can either hear none of it or all of it, because I just hope they can't hear me occasionally peeking with the word gay or like slur or like the N-word, that'd be fantastic.
Morally superior is like projection here. Where did this come from? I do not think I'm morally superior than you. I too would date a sex— like, I just—
Listen, chat, my neighbor lacks critical information, okay?
I don't know. And then I'm just like, where did I dehumanize sex workers? Where did I try to be morally superior? I personally date one, blah, blah, blah. There are people who wouldn't even date streamers / YouTubers. People not wanting to date you isn't dehumanization, LMAO. And then, wait, there's more! I don't care if people want to date me. Never called it dehumanization.
Alright, dude. Okay, so they've walked back everything now. Big Honkin' Caboose, the big fat ass haver, has walked back everything now. So for starters, the tweet— you can't do the I don't care thing when you tweeted about it. And you can't say you never call it dehumanization when you can literally see on screen right now the "in order to further dehumanize sex workers" thing. Oh wait, no, this is her once again denying it.
Girl!
Let's scroll up to where she said it earlier. It's very cool, and she, in order to further dehumanize sex workers who truly are morally superior. Okay, so she says, I don't say, in order to dehumanize sex workers, you truly are morally superior. Okay, yeah, she said that. Where did I say dehumanize sex workers? I don't... I never called it dehumanization. Okay, so she just walked everything back. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just making sure that I read everything right. I wanted to make sure. So this person walked everything back.
Want to date me. Never called it dehumanization. Girl, what is this? You did. She's saying I'm dehumanizing sex workers by saying not everyone wants, and then she's like, I never said that. Like, girl, it's right there. I'm being gaslit, gatekeep girl boss in real time.
Mommy, I mean mommy.
Thank you, Zachary.
Oh no. Oh god. I'm gonna have to listen to these donuts
anyway,
now, aren't I?
Why do you care if I think you're boring and insecure? Adding to the narrative that it's normal to not want to date people in porn. It is! Dehumanizes the people in porn? What? I don't know. Just look at the people agreeing with you. Bro, they always do this. So, like, there'll be randos that jump in, and it's just like, I feel like being like, I'm sorry, a big hunk of...
I can kind of feel where this person's coming from. Look at the people agreeing with you. I can understand how it feels. Like, if you are seeing people that range from, like, you know, like, me and Vosh's fans, like, leftists, to, like, Sargon of Akkad fans that still hope that Mama Shu will come back to the bright side, or whatever, or whatever it may be. Like, when you have those, like, that much of a range of people, like, spamming your replies after a SHOE0NHEAD reply, or SHOE0NHEAD quote tweet, or whatever, or hell, a SHOE0NHEAD, like, argument thread, I can kind of understand feeling as though the people coming along to jump to Shu's defense are indicative of, like, you know, maybe a problem with her ideas and, like, who she allows in her community. At the same time, it feels like a really big cop-out from the actual argument and the point that Shu made. Granted, it is still Twitter, but, you know, we're quite a few tweets deep at this point. We've yet to get what I'd consider to be a coherent argument out of this person yet.
In caboose. I also disagree with this person, but, like, I don't even bother. But, like, there'll be randoms that come in like, yeah, fuck them, whores. It's like, whoa, let's calm it down a little bit, guy. But yeah, like, I don't give a shit. Like, I'm sorry that
Xanderhall, I think my biggest issue with Shu is she, like, never makes it super clear that the unironic Nazis who use her words to go way further than her, that it's not okay to do that. Yeah, maybe. I'm not really super in the know on how Shu manages her community. Maybe, like, maybe I'll, like, go to one of her, like, Discord movie watch parties. I don't know if she does those anymore. I know that she used to. Maybe I'll, like, go to one of those and see if, like, half the people in there are all, like, Nazi Pepes and talking about 1350 and be like, Shu, your Discord's a Nazi cesspool. Like, maybe that's what ends up happening. I don't know. Shu followed her tradness when she said it was normal, when she meant it was common. Trads love normal. I think you're looking too much into wording. SHOE0NHEAD is not a skilled rhetorician. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not saying this is an insulting way. She's not, like, autistically, like, focused like I am on making sure that every word and sentence comes out sounding as intellectually superior as possible, because I know for a fact that if I don't sound as smart as possible, you guys will nitpick everything I say, and if I don't watch every word that I say, you guys will nitpick what I say. I've had years of dealing with it. SHOE0NHEAD's just started streaming and has not yet dealt with it, okay? You guys are gonna... Listen, all I'm saying is, whether she... I don't know if she knows it yet or not, she is going to transform as a streamer over the course of time, okay? I promise you. She's gonna get better at talking, better at debating, better at expressing her thoughts in a live format completely off the cuff. It is a completely independent skill for making live content, which is what she's used to. And, you know, I'll say, like, you know, she's doing well for... It's not her first stream, but, like... some of her first content doing this type of response stuff. And I like that she's doing it, too, because it's way, way more frequent and easier to produce than, say, like, a Hell World, which you get, like, once every 3 to 6 months, right? So, yeah, it's more frequent content. It's a good idea. I like doing streams, and I think it's a good type of content. Though, I think normal is just the word that she defaulted on, because she could either say it's normal to not want to date somebody who does sex work, or she can say in about 50 more words the same sentiment in a way that doesn't come off as a microaggression, pretty much. That's what you're mad about. You're mad about a microaggression, the wording that she used. And the only way that I can imagine she could have worded the same completely non-problematic sentiment would be with, like, about 50 more characters available on Twitter, maybe. And that is why she is here to talk about it herself on stream.
There are people, like, this is a public platform. There are gonna be people who come in who also, like, I don't know. And then, like, that's basically where it ended. Like...
Yeah, I agree. I think she might have been able to swap okay with normal, or no, normal with okay, and it would have worked well too. That's a good call.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Is it dehumanizing to someone to be like, I don't want to date you? This shit, honestly, just comes off as, like, reverse incel. Like, female incel shit.
Nah, it's called femcel. There's no reverse incel, Shoe. It's called femcel. Okay, so there is dehumanization of sex workers that is quite significant, that is based around the idea of their undateability and the fact that, quote-unquote, a man will never want them. I do think Shu's being a little... I don't know if she's, like, forgetting this or if she's being a little bit, like, obtuse here, but, like, a lot of sex workers online have been hit with the, you're all dried up, you're gonna dry up and no man's ever gonna want you, you're fucking roast beef curtains, yeah, like, come on, like very clearly a lot of men will attack women online, particularly those that do sex work, and the attack will base around nothing other than you have made yourself undesirable sexually and romantically to any man, quote-unquote, worth his salt, right? Am I wrong? Quote-unquote, before she hits the wall. Yeah, we've all heard that phrase, yeah. I do wish that she would be a little bit more... Something that I try to do, as much as possible, is acknowledge the strongest point the opposition to what I agree with has. Because the last thing you want to do is put out a video that you're really confident about in which you made like a lot of really good affirmative arguments for your position, but then you've got a bunch of people replying with what seem like really plausible counter arguments. So instead, you want to cover those plausible sounding counter arguments in your video and get out in front of them, so you've got less, dumb fucks in the comments that didn't fucking get it, trying to find nitpicks and finding excuses for why the streamer they watched is wrong and they're smarter. Because everybody wants to feel like they're smarter on the internet. Who would have thought?
Like, you'd want to date me? You whore. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what? And, like, again, you see it with the trans thing. It's literally not bigoted. And also, to that girl, she's really attractive. She could probably date anybody she wants. There's gonna be people who turn her down for being a sex worker, and that's whatever. Move on. Those people, if they don't respect your, career or your decision in life, then, like, you guys won't get along anyway. Who cares? They missed out, I guess? I don't know. And it's same with trans people. There are many trans people who date trans people. Like, so many people. Who cares about the people who won't? Like, it's not even worth it. It's not even worth getting upset that, people won't fucking fuck you or whatever. I don't know. Yeah. So I don't understand how that, like, dehumanizes the sex worker. Everyone has different boundaries. Some people will, some people, like, wouldn't date them. And then there's also the people that were like, oh, if you watch porn, that's a hypocritical if you also wouldn't date a porn star.
What?
Is that true? I don't think so. I don't think that's hypocritical.
It's very dumb argument.
It's different. People have it's like Vosh when he talks about monogamy, right? He's like, oh, monogamy's born from insecurity. Some people just say shit, and it's like, okay, I just don't think you understand, like, monogamy.
I do think that's a very cringe take. I think that people who... I'm gonna give you guys a fucking spicy and based fucking take here, okay? Those that are built to not have, like, the jealousy or, like, the like, I guess, like, the desire for, like, intimacy to be special between you and your partner, like, to have that monogamy, because I am personally into monogamy. Those that don't have that same hang up are almost like vegans, and how morally superior they'll be about it. They'll be like, huh, you'd be upset if your girlfriend fucked another dude? Ha! You're such a fucking you're so insecure, dude. Ha! Real Chads let their girlfriends fuck other dudes. And it's like, okay, well, listen, it's fine if you've got, like, your own way to have a relationship, but you're basically doing the thing that the right would do to those that, yeah, like, I don't know. It just seems very much like, a weird vegan. It almost comes off as like the vegan version of relationship styles, right? People will act super high and mighty about it and be like, oh yeah, everybody should be able to do this. If you can't be capable of a non-monogamous relationship without feeling bad about it, then you're just have hang-ups that are your own fault, and you gotta work that out, because that is your own shortcoming, and that is not correct. That is born out of, that is a negative trait. That is a thing that in a perfect world you would have not be a part of your personality. It just comes off as very much like, oh, so you're telling me that like I'm tainted in some way, that like I'm not a good person or a pure person because I prefer monogamy and am not a fan of it. It really does sometimes come off as, I don't know if like SHOE0NHEAD's quote was directly what Vosh said, but I have heard people that are like super duper polyamorous say that kind of stuff. It does happen.
Monogamy in general, I don't know. It's like, what are you talking about? No, he was kind of right. He's not. See, to me, polyamory is built on insecurity. Like, you don't think that you can keep one person, so you have to always have different options. You can't give your whole heart.
I hope that she's being ironic here. I really hope that she's being ironic. Because, like, the actual true and base take here is that nobody should judge the, like, on a moral level whatsoever. Nor should they, like, and it is, you are judging someone on a moral level if you're judging their like, moral, like, their personality-based shortcomings. You are morally judging them in some way. In the same way that Shu said that, you know, saying that somebody would be unwilling to have sex with a sex worker or date a sex worker would be, is a moral, you know, judgment. It is. I think that the ideal position, and I hope she's being ironic, she probably is, we'll see, because I'm going to let it play. The perfect position, the true position is that we should opt to, I don't think this is controversial, by the way. I'm not brave for saying this. I want to make it very clear. I am not brave for saying this. This is not a controversial take. We should try to create a society in which everybody feels as though if they're having a consensual and happy relationship in which all parties are cool with it and all are of age and capable of consenting and all that cool, fun stuff, that they should be able to go without moral judgment. Or not so much that they should be able to go without moral judgment. You can't completely guarantee that. But at the very least, I think it's reasonable to say that those that would pass moral judgment on those people are assholes. Or at the very least should learn to keep their nose or their eyes up front and in their own business, you know? Xanderhall, my ex, said that kind of stuff to me, but thing is, healthy poly, just like any relationship, requires communication and boundaries. That's the thing. Like a lot of people also sort of like not be honest about what polyamorous relationships tend to be. Like generally, from what I've seen, polyamorous relationships are pretty organized, right? It's not like, oh, you go out and go fuck somebody whenever you feel like it or whatever. It's like kind of, I guess, organized or something. I don't know all the ins and outs, but it's not like there can still be cheating in a polyamorous relationship. Like, apparently trust and communication is, you know, vital, and if that's broken, then that's when it becomes cheating and it stops being a poly relationship. It is simply different strokes for different folks. Can we really not just leave it at that? Different strokes for different folks? It truly is that simple.
Art to one person. Hey, if you can't have an 8, You can always have 2 4s, I guess. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I think I've seen one good-looking polyamorous couple.
Oh god, okay, fuck. Alright, hold on. Okay, now we're... Okay, alright, we're... Okay, we can't watch... Alright, I think she's, you know, honestly, I think SHOE0NHEAD's, you know, I think she's done a good job defending her position. Yeah, I think it's time to... I think she's done talking about that topic. I think it's time to wrap that particular segment up. That was fantastic. Thank you, Shu. Thank you for taking the stage. I really appreciate it. Fantastic. Absolutely lovely. Thank you very much. All right. If you enjoyed this segment, please consider leaving a like. It really does help the channel out more than you even realize. Whether you're watching this live, when the VOD has finished after the fact, or if you're watching this when it goes up as its own video, please definitely consider leaving a like. And of course, subscribe and ring the bell icon so YouTube actually tells you when I go live or upload a new video. And finally, if you want to see more from me on YouTube, you can, or on the internet, sorry, you can follow my social medias, all linked down below, especially my Twitter, where all the spiciest memes happened. And finally, if you want to support me financially, donate to me, keep me creating this content, financially support me, and help me raise money to get to Seattle and start raising those quail and doing all sorts of cool types of content, even IRL collabs with some of the other political content creators you may know and love. Imagine an IRL collab between Vosh, Xanderhall, and Demon Mama. Can you imagine the 3 of us in real life? It might shatter the fabric of reality, frankly, if we meet in real life. Who knows? You'll just have to donate and see. You'll have to donate and see. Thank you so much, though, regardless of how you support me. I really do appreciate it. And as always, have a good one.